Hello all. As if the growing menace of the React-to-Shell vulnerability undergoing massive ramp-up of active attack and exploitation wasn't enough, this past week was Patch Tuesday for the likes of Adobe, Microsoft, and SAP. But wait, there's more! Apache, Apple, Fortinet, Google, Ivanti, and WatchGuard all had items come up that require attention. CISA was quite active with warnings, many of which we've listed in the main body of the RedDotSecurity.news newsletter, along with lots more news items that caught our attention. This email and video commentary is from the RedDotSecurity.news website that contains a plethora of links to other items not mentioned here that are worth skimming to see if they interest you or pertain to your particular environment or of those you support. There's a lot more than what's provided in these opening comments. So, on to the headline news. Adobe Acrobat and Reader had vulnerabilities plugged that, if left unpatched, can allow remote code execution and bypass security controls. In addition to the former, Adobe Cold Fusion, Adobe Experience Manager, Adobe DNG SDK, and Adobe Creative Cloud Desktop all received security updates. If you use any of these, check for updates quickly. Apache Tika had a new patch issued for a max severity defect in the Tika core. An earlier patch addressed a flaw in the Tika parser PDF module. However, as is often the case with these types of patches, someone found that there was more to fix. If this is in use anywhere in your environment, patch it immediately to the latest updated version. Fortinet can't go a month without a massive release of updates for most of their products, it seems. The list of items is extensive. It'd be simpler just to check for updates for Forti anything this month and patch immediately. Check the article links in our full RedDotSecurity.news for details. Google Chrome and Chromium browsers in general received multiple security fixes this past week. The most serious defect is still officially somewhat under wraps, but researchers postulate that it is in the almost native graphics layer engine, or ANGLE, library, and is most likely a buffer overflow defect that can result in remote code execution in the worst case. Underscoring how severe this one is, CISA has ordered all federal agencies to update to the latest Chromium versions by January 2nd. Ivanti Endpoint Manager, EPM, has a remote code execution vulnerability that can be exploited by unauthenticated threat actors. This should be a less severe issue since a product that manages your endpoints should be accessible only from inside your firewalled network. At least you'd think so. Unfortunately, Shadow Server has identified hundreds of these endpoint managers that are in fact accessible from the internet. You can't fix stupid. Come on, people, don't publicly expose things that are intended to be internal. Microsoft Patch Tuesday was not as large as was expected. Maybe they mercifully released less, knowing that this week was patch heavy enough. In all, there were 56 security fixes across a wide range of their products. There were 3 critical vulnerabilities in the mix, with one of them being a 0-day in the Windows Cloud Files mini filter driver. This final patch release for 2025 brings Microsoft's grand total for the year to 1,129 vulnerabilities, which is almost 12% higher than last year. You'd think that 2 years after starting their Secure Future initiative, the flaws and defects should be decreasing. I guess not. Maybe next year? React-to-Shell popped onto the world's radar on December 3rd. This past week, massive probing and exploitation attempts were detected by Wiz against Next.js applications and other workloads such as Docker, Kubernetes, and managed cloud services. You can't sit and wait on this vulnerability. Immediate action is required. As reported by Cloudflare, quote, "A single specially crafted HTTP request is sufficient. There is no authentication requirement, user interaction, or elevated permissions involved." End quote. Threat actors are rapidly compromising vulnerable systems with command and control, C2, servers, backdoors, reverse proxy implants, botnets, monitoring tools, exfiltrating information, and are installing crypto miners. In our Vulnerabilities and Exploits section of the RedDotSecurity.news, there's a link to an article about a scanner by Next.js that can be helpful in detecting the defect. SAP, or Systems, Applications, and Products and Data Processing, has released patches for 14 vulnerabilities, 3 of which are critical. Multiple Apache Tomcat defects were fixed in SAP's Commerce Cloud that is used by retailers for online stores and such. If you use SAP products, please check for updates and apply any that pertain to your environment as soon as possible. WatchGuard released nearly a dozen updates this month to address vulnerabilities in their Firebox firewalls. Threat actors love firewall holes. Plug them fast. SEO-poisoned ads and malicious advertisements are an ever-increasing scourge in internet searches and AI suggestions. We have a few articles this week that tackle this topic. Unfortunately, there are no easy answers since threat actors are opportunistic scum, and larger threat groups have lots of money to purchase top billing on search engines via shell and shill companies. As always, caveat emptor, or buyer beware. SpaceX vending machine in Iowa intrigues me. Apparently, you can walk up to a machine in a Jordan Creek Town Center shopping mall food court in West Des Moines, Iowa, and walk out with a brand new shiny Starlink setup for a discounted price of $89, and if you activate within a week, you get a $100 service credit if you subscribe. Intriguing indeed. Christmas is a mere 21 days away. Are you ready? Threat actors are. They've ramped up their call centers, tuned up their AI phishing engines, custom-tailored their look-alike shopping sites with too-good-to-be-true deals, and ensured accessibility of their man-in-the-middle credit card order takers. They're counting on getting a very merry bonus this year. Shop at what you are certain is a legitimate site, not what you found via poisoned web search or saw via the latest unbelievable 97% off advertisement seen on Facebook because you merely thought about that product a couple of days ago. There are indeed seasonal deals to be had, but you must be vigilant so you don't become a holiday crime statistic. Keep the shields up.